Joining me now, another Florida man, just like Dave Rubin is now, U.S. Congressman Byron Donalds, who is supporting former President Donald Trump. He's on the ground right now in Iowa, the final Trump event before the caucuses begin. All right, Representative Donalds, you're a Florida man. You must be freezing. Are you freezing out there in Iowa right now?
Oh, yeah, I'm cold. And this is the reason why I left New York, because my toes and my fingertips never did well with the cold weather. Feeling it right now, but I did make sure I packed my long johns. So I got those on, feeling okay. But, just excited to be here in Iowa. Yeah,
it's a very cool environment. I've been out there for virtually every caucus since I've been in journalism, and there's an excitement in the air. It's like, democracy in action, as they say. So how are you feeling about tonight? Trump's way ahead in the latest polling, but, Iowa's known for producing sleeper winners. So how are you feeling?
I feel good. I think for us, it's really about turnout. Our voters get out to the caucuses and do their job. We believe that's going to occur because if you look at any polling metrics that is out there, the most motivated voters in Iowa are Trump voters. So we think that it's going to be a big night for the president. Look, the biggest question is how big is the margin going to be, in my opinion. I think it's going to be double digits. And when that occurs, I think the nominating process in our party is going to pretty much be over after that.
If Trump wins tonight by anything less than 30 points, the mainstream media tomorrow will say he's a loser. He has no momentum. Shock, second place finish by whomever, right? They helped drive it. Will that matter? And do you expect that?
It won't matter. And I expect the media will do anything to try to, belittle what Donald Trump's going to accomplish here in Iowa. But at the end of the day, look at New Hampshire. The polling is massively ahead. You go to South Carolina, he's going to be massively ahead. Florida, my home state, he's massively ahead. There's not a state in the country where it's even in single digits. So I think that, he doesn't have to have this massive 40, 50-point win to make a statement. The only real statement, I think, is, does anybody even get close? That's the only statement that really matters. And I don't think anybody's going to get close. You're going to see that in every state, which is why Donald Trump is going to be our nominee.
Okay, I've got to ask you about what's happening between Trump and Vivek, because at some point Vivek was going to have to switch from Trump's the greatest, Trump, to Vivek. How about Vivek? And it seems to have happened where he's changing the message to, in order to save Trump, you have to vote for Vivek. Here's just a little bit of an interaction he had with one Iowa voter that's going on social media. Take a look at SOT 6.
Scared of you. Just
they
like
are.
They're scared of Trump.
Oh,
they are scared.
And they will stop at nothing, but we're not going to let them get away with it. I've got fresh legs. I'm not wounded. And they're not going to let this man do it.
When you said eliminate, that gave me a chill. Because I'm scared.
Because you think it's false or because you think it's true?
I think it's true. Yeah. I think they will stop at nothing to stop them. Stop Trump.
It's sad, but it's the truth.
They say, how do you feel about the United States? And I say, I'm worried and I'm fearful.
My job that you don't have to feel that way in this country.
But we're losing it.
You think?
We're losing it.
It pains me to hear that. You want to save Trump, you vote for me. I'm telling you that. You vote for Trump. You're sending him.
A sledgehammer.
No, but you're sending him to his own demise. You're falling into the trap that not only a country's falling in, that he's falling. You want to save Trump, you vote for me.
What do you make of that message? Trump is wounded. The party needs fresh legs. And if you want to save Donald Trump, you need to vote for Vivek.
I just don't agree with that. I don't even understand that message. You want to save Donald Trump, you vote for Donald Trump. This makes no sense to me. Look, I think what he's trying to figure out is any way to build some momentum because he's lost a lot in this race. And trying to do that on the coattails or climbing up the back of President Trump, that's one way to do it. But I just don't agree with that strategy at all. You don't save another candidate by telling them to vote for you. You say, look, this is what I'm about. Here's my platform. Here's what I represent. You want to be the new generation of Republicans. That's all fine, well, and good. But you don't do that on the back of President Trump. I just don't agree with that strategy at all. And look, for the voters in Iowa or anywhere else, what's going to be determinative for President Trump's success is you voting for Donald Trump, period, full stop. Everything else is the chicanery of politics.
The Trump campaign said Vivek is a fake. Trump said he's not MAGA. Vivek's defenders say he is MAGA. He's just next generation. He's America First next generation with the fresh legs. What do you think?
I think that's ridiculous. The MAGA movement is built around Donald Trump. That's just what it is. And I think as a step back, when you look at any political candidate or president that takes fire and really takes hold in any political party, what typically happens is other people come along who try to recreate that coalition. The Democrats have been trying to do that with the Obama coalition. They can't do it. You have Republicans trying to do that with President Trump. They can't do it because that political movement is centered around the individual. I tell candidates all the time, don't try to be Donald Trump. Be yourself. You can be America first. You can support the Constitution. You can do all those things, but you cannot be Donald Trump. He's one of one. Be who you are. And if voters choose to follow that and they choose you, then that's a great thing. And if they don't choose to follow you, well, guess what? There's a bunch of people that lose in political races. It happens all the time.
Mm-hmm. Well, a Republican Party is going to have some soul searching to do. Let's say Trump wins and serves a second term and then exits because he's term limited, on what the next generation of America First looks like. At some point, if they want to keep it rolling, they are going to have to think about successors and other people who have the same ideas. I think Vivek's got his hand up, high to be considered. We'll see whether that works. All right, let's switch over to the Democratic side because there was some interesting news for them, and this is relevant to what's happening tonight in Iowa. Joe Biden now with his lowest approval rating ever and the lowest in 15 years of presidential polls. Just to give you some of the numbers, only 31% of women now approve of the job he's doing. He won 57% of women in 2020. My God, that kind of a fall is severe. He has 41% support among college graduates. That's a 10-point dip. 21 points below his average with Black people. 15 points below his average with Hispanic voters. 6 points below his average with white people. We could keep going. This is a hemorrhage. And I do wonder, do you think any one of these Republicans would put an end to the Biden presidency? I know you want President Trump, but given these numbers, do you think any Republican could take him out?
Well, I do believe any Republican can take him out because he's awful. This is the worst president we've seen in the modern era. I call him the master of disaster for a reason because everything has gone wrong, Megyn. I mean, everything. Pick an issue. It's been bad for the United States of America, but it's bigger than that. It's also the fact that he does not look like he's physically capable of doing this job. The White House has hid him from the American people for most of his presidency already. He doesn't talk to the press. Like, look, on Capitol Hill, we're having this argument about spending and what should we do to try to secure the border. My argument to Republican colleagues is you want to force an argument that makes Joe Biden go to the microphones because he cannot command the bully pulpit. So, of course, his numbers are going to stink with the American people because he's been a terrible president and he can't even make an argument for why the American people should support him. I think he's going to lose to Donald Trump. But to your question, I think he loses to any Republican. The problem for Nikki Haley, Ron DeSantis, and Vivek Ramaswamy is that Republican voters overwhelmingly want Donald Trump back in the White House.
My God, the video of President Biden out of, I guess it's Emmaus, Pennsylvania from Friday. He was being introduced to employees of, I've heard that it's a bike shop. Look at this. Look at this. The poor gentleman has to stop him from going forward. You can see he doesn't know. I mean, we've all seen this with our elderly relatives where you kind of need to manhandle them. I mean, they're telling us he can do 5 more years. Do you believe it?
No, and nobody does. And I think especially when you look at what's happening, Black voters, they see this thing. You have Charlamagne the God on the Breakfast Club basically saying to people on his show, he's too old and everybody knows it. And it's even not so much about his age because people try to throw the age in. That's not it. It's his mental capacity and acuity. You can't have a president look lost in a bike shop. What does that say to Xi Jinping or to Vladimir Putin or to Rocket Man himself in North Korea or to the mullahs in Iran? What does it say to our allies? This is terrible. And to watch my Democrat colleagues have to defend this, they know this the same thing that all Americans can see.
On the Black vote, he's doing Joe Biden. They say it's a stark difference between those who are over 50 and up approve of Joe Biden 65%. Those who are younger than 50 only giving him a 32% approval rating. That is not helpful in the Democratic Party where they really need Black voters to come out overwhelmingly for them. While we're on the subject of race, Fani Willis, who's trying to take down Donald Trump in Georgia, she's his DA, his prosecutor down there, is in a whole heap of trouble because she allegedly had an affair with her special prosecutor she brought in. And then on his dime, or, with, in part, his dime, traveled the world. She was going to Jamaica. She was going to Napa Valley. And so the allegation is she has a financial incentive to keep this case going and to keep the special prosecutor right there, nice and close to her. She hasn't denied it. It's been alleged in a legal pleading. We'll see how it plays out. She took to the microphones over the weekend, including yesterday, and said in part the following. Take a listen, stop 2.
You cannot expect Black women to be perfect and save the world. The Lord is completing us. We are not perfect. We need your prayers. We need to be allowed to stumble. We need grace.
You're furrowing your brow. Why?
Man, the Lord did not cause you to stumble into $600,000 of taxpayer money because you sleeping with the dude who's the lead prosecutor. The Lord didn't call you to do that, Fanny. You thought you were going to get away, and so you tried to get the church's money. That's what happened here, and you got caught. It's that simple. And look, should this case be thrown out? It should, because it is clear you have prosecutorial misconduct. And listen, Megyn, I heard your interview the other day talking about this, where now he was billing, he billed the Fulton County DA's office for 24 hours of discovery, having meetings in Washington, D.C. with the White House counsel. I mean, that's ridiculous. You know that. Everybody knows that. But I got one other question. Now my question is, what does the White House counsel know? When did they know it? And what does Joe Biden know? And when did he know it? Because if they're meeting with the White House counsel's office, you can't tell me that they did not tell the president what was going on.
It smacks of coordination, which they've been denying that there's been. So if in fact they were coordinating with the Fani Willis prosecution, they have some answers to provide. I want to ask you,
Megyn, real quick. One thing on Fani Willis, and I want to make sure I get to this. She's a long line of politicians who are trying to essentially take advantage of Trump to build their name ID. And she was also trying to get money in the process. Don't go into a Black church and say, oh, pray for me. You did wrong, and you know you did wrong. You're in violation of any lawyer's ethics standards in any state in the country. Don't go to the church now asking for prayer and forgiveness. You knowingly did it, and you got caught. She should be removed. She should be disbarred.
All right, last quick issue. White House protests on Saturday night. I mean, the pro-Palestinian protesters, it looked very insurrection-y to me. One person was trying to scale the fence to get on the White House grounds. It was incredibly raucous. Here's a little bit of it in SOT 13. Shaking the gates. New York Post reporting, Representative, no arrests were made. Think there's a double standard?
Oh, there's a huge double standard. It's all politics. Look, the reality is that the district attorney, the state attorney, whatever they call them, the U.S. attorney, in the D.C. district, that guy only picks Republicans and MAGA supporters to prosecute. He doesn't want to prosecute Democrats. He doesn't go after anybody in D.C. that's committed a crime. He lets them go. But if you're MAGA, if you're a Republican, he tries to throw you under the jail. This is why you have to actually change the D.C. circuit. Enough's enough. We got to have real reforms at the Department of Justice, and you're never going to get it out of Joe Biden in this White House, or any Democrat for that matter. It's a massive double standard, and that's the type of thing that destroys our institutions more than anything.
All right, in 20 seconds or less, what's going to happen in Iowa tonight?
I think Trump's going to be plus 15, plus 17, not going to be close.
Representative Byron Donalds, always great to see you. Thanks so much for coming on.
All right. Thank you so much, Megyn. Take it easy.
All right. Stay warm. Get those hand warmers out. Oh my gosh. Can you imagine how cold everybody is there? And thanks to all of you for joining us today. We're going to have all the Iowa angles covered for you tomorrow. So make sure you tune into the show. The post-election day shows are among my very favorite. And we've got it covered. Stu and Dave are back. So we'll bring you all the very latest.